Today we're at Underland Off-Road. The truck is up on the rack. We're going to show you what's going on with that. Little backstory here. This ZR2 is owned by Wyatt and his other buddy, Bruno. I've known them, I met him a couple years back. I met Wyatt when he had his 1500, and then Bruno now has that. And when they were seeing that I was doing 37s, doing the test fit, and I showed that it didn't fit right away, they were like, hey, we have the AEV Tire Clearance Kit. If you need it, let us know. We can help you with it and everything. I said, hold on. I still got a couple more steps I want to do, and I'll let you know. I'll see if I'm going to need it or not. So as you guys can see in my previous videos, we did the 4-inch kit at McGaughys. We did 38s, and still we had a little bit of rubbing. So today we're here at his shop, and he's got me hooked up. I'm buying the AEV Tire Clearance Kit, and they're installing it on my truck. This is his truck right here. You guys have probably seen that truck around on some of the Facebook GM groups and Silverado groups. This is a ZR2 with the AEV bumpers, all outfitted out, and he's running some 38 1350s just like I am. A little bit different setup. He's got the Tire Clearance Kit as well. We'll maybe get to talk with him and see what he's done with his truck so you guys can see his setup. But today we're installing the AEV kit on my truck. So let's go take a look over here. They've already got the wheels off of it, buying some room to get in there, and basically this is going to get replaced right here and get cut out and recessed back, and then the new caps are going to go back on from AEV. And then, as I talked about before, I took off the splash shield on the front side of the bumper, or rear side of the front bumper, because I didn't want to damage them. But that's also going to get replaced. Get this area right here, I believe I saw in the instructions, gets recessed, and that's what they're going to do today. And let's go and look on the bench. So here is all the components that come in the kit, a bunch of remolded lower mud flap area, and then the splash guard little section that they're going to recess and put back in place. And then obviously bracketry, you've got your templates for the cutouts, and obviously this is the 37-inch tire trim kit that AEV puts out. But in my case, I'm going to use it to fit my 38s underneath it. Again, they fit. I was able to drive the truck, but still had a little bit of rubbing and possibility of rubbing even more when I was fully articulated in any type of off-road or any other situation. And I don't want this truck to rub. As you can see here, there's no rubbing on this side, so we were good on that. But since the kit comes with this side as well, we're going to go ahead and do it. The issue was in this area right here. So, and I even, just to let you know too, even when I had these off, the splash shields, people were talking about, hey, what if you just heat them up and push them in, and so on and so on. Well, I just want to show you here, underneath you have brackets. So really, there wasn't really a way for me to heat that up and push it in, because behind it, there was metal structure. So that has to be figured out, which again, the AEV Tire Clearance Kit does accommodate for. So I just wanted to show that for the guys that had suggested to just heat it up with a heat gun and push it in and buy a little bit of space, which in all theory would be a good option and work. But again, this is what you're looking at on the backside. So we're going to fix all that today. And I'm not going to do like a how-to, but I'll probably, jump in and kind of show some of the things that they're doing while they're doing the install. So we got Wyatt here. Truck is all apart, disassembled, and he's going to go over some of the benefits and features of what this kit actually does to the truck.
Yeah, absolutely. So it allows you to fit 37s, or in your case, 38s without any trimming. It does require some modifications. So it pulls the whole fender liner back here. It flips this bracket back, so you get more clearance here up in the front, and a whole new kind of plastic filler kit. And then back here on the cab side, we do a slight modification to the fender here to give it, again, more clearance. And then there's a new filler piece that replaces the mud flap that's currently there with a higher clearance mud flap. Again, just giving you a lot more clearance overall, and really well engineered from AEV.
As you can see here, it's got a lot of extra sheet metal on the fender, and that's all going to be cut back. So then the new filler mud flap, the new cap that it comes with, is going to be pushed back further and allow for more room. And then I think right there, that's going to get modified as well.
We'll have to check clearance, but this one we might end up keeping. But for sure on the front side, we'll be modifying that.
Where about does it get modified?
Yeah, so it's going to be just a little notch right around here. that again gives you room to pull that fender liner back and gives you clearance for the new filler piece that AEV provides.
And then this bracket right here?
Yep, and that bracket will be removed and then actually reinstalled on the back side and flipped and twisted.
So basically opening up all the bracketry wider to,
yep,
you know, forward this way and pushing it backward that way to allow for the tire to move around properly.
Exactly, and using all like OE level engineering and trim pieces, so it looks like it came from the showroom floor like that.
So once it's done, no one's going to be able to really notice, unless you're a guy like yourself that sells these or installs them and knows what to look for.
Right, exactly. Even myself, I would have to really look to see what's done, because AEV built these bumpers, and so they have all the engineering CAD data, and they made it fit perfectly.
And then just real quick, just a piece of information, because you've got a ZR2, which is the Chevy version of this.
Yep.
And you were telling me off camera before we started filming that, and I didn't know either, but the difference between the GMC AT4X AEV and the ZR2 Bison, what they're calling it. The difference is that tire clearance kit is just the front, and they don't do the rear, and you were explaining to me why.
Yeah, so the way that this rear fender is, the GMC comes basically straight down here, whereas the Silverado version just has just enough arc here to still give you the clearance and not need to trim. I mean, we're only taking off about maybe 3/4 of an inch, if that, back here off this fender, but it's not needed on the Silverado Bison.
The Silverado is already pushed back a little bit just because of the fender opening.
Yeah, just because of the body lines of it and the way the flare is designed.
And so that's why there's a lot of, like, because I was telling people, I'm like, oh, you know, mine was rubbing up front, but then a lot of guys were saying that they have plenty of clearance on the backside, and that's the reason why.
Yep.
So that's a little bit of difference between the two models, trucks.
Yep.
Okay, exactly. Well, let's keep on moving forward. This thing's ready to get cut up.
Yep.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
So I want to jump in here real quick and show you guys the cut that was made, and then everything's all painted up nicely. I was even commenting, I thought maybe he might cut and buff it because it looks so shiny, but that's all going to get covered up with the shield when it gets back all together, but at least it's all painted up, so not going to rust or anything like that. Over on the back side here, there's the template that is for the fender, which this is all getting cut off right here. And in that case, once it's all done, then the new plastic that is formed with more recess will be allowed to be installed, and the tire will clearance. And as Wyatt was saying previously, he was saying that the Chevys, they come down a little bit more of an angle, and that's why the Chevy doesn't need this side done, but the GMC does, because the GMC goes straight down. And now we're going to recess all that back on the metal. Just again, fender well differences. The GMC has a flat top when a Chevy is going to be more rounded, and it slants down a little bit more there, compared to coming straight down. So that's the next step right there to get that all clearanced out. So we're getting ready to cut the splash shield, modify it for the new piece. Why don't you show us what it's going to do?
Yeah, so basically we're going to trim this piece back a little bit, and this you can kind of see like how much more clearance we would be getting. So we'll rivet this replacement piece onto here after we trim, and so you usually get about an inch and a half more clearance.
Yeah, it's pretty wide. And with that said, as we talked about earlier, the bracket that was right behind that location, it's going to get pushed back even further as well.
Yeah, so you can see here. So this is the factory bracket. It mounts to the front side of this normally, and then you basically mount it to the back side of this bracket here, which pushes everything back. And then when we trim this piece here, as you can see here, just again creates much more clearance.
Little bit, but equals a lot when it's all said and done with the tire swinging in.
Yep, absolutely.
We're just at the tail end of getting everything finished on the modifications to the fender, but wanted to show real quick here the difference between the factory bracket and the new tie back, if you want to say bracket.
Yep.
So go ahead and...
Yeah, exactly. So these are kind of mounting the same spot as you imagine. Again, pulling it back about 3/4 of an inch here. So this piece was originally mounted like here, and then gets replaced with this new bracket that then mounts here and pulls it all back.
Again, the fender, inner fender well, the carpet, if you want to say, gets tucked back further with this bracket, and then obviously this has been all clearanced out again, and the cap will cover that up. And then what about the front piece?
Yeah,
that's all done.
Yeah, so we've now flipped this over. We've installed this new bracket, again, pulling this all further back. And then now that we have cut and installed our additional trim piece, provides a much more clearance, whereas before it was kind of more straight through here. Then this will come in and cover this all up.
And then the inner fender well will go in and go from there. Just
exactly.
Wanted to show you guys before it went back together. This is a new bracket. All the modification that's done here, this bracket's been flipped over, gaining all the clearance along with the new splash shield little piece. And then obviously they got to put in the fender well, and then we'll be done on this side and off to the other side. Truck is on the ground. Here you can see the cab side. Looks real nice and flush. A lot more clearance. We'll have to get the tires to turn left and right and see how it looks. And then on the front side, you see all that there pushes forward. So a lot more clearance there too. We'll have to see when it turns left to right. So let's see what kind of clearance we have now. All the way locked? Yes. We have clearance now. And then let me look on the other side. A lot more clearance on this side too. Okay, let's go the other way. And we're at lock. We got clearance now. So a lot better. Before, this tire was actually up against the plastic, which is why I removed the plastic. And now we've got clearance. Let's look at the back side over here. Yes, a lot better. Much better. Now this thing can articulate in any type of position and have clearance and not be grinding off the plastic inner fender wells with the tire, which is not fun. Not fun at all. That's great. So we got Wyatt here, and he's gonna real quick just kind of give a little bit of explanation of like how many hours this takes for them to do it if you want to do install at their shop here in Southern California in Orange County, or they also ship this product, and you guys ship worldwide. So give us a little bit of insight on like labor-wise if you're doing it here, whether if you're doing it in your driveway for the first time.
Yeah, so we've done this a few times. We can knock it out in about 6 hours or so. With all, you know, of course, having the right tools make the job a little quicker. But if you're doing it DIY, say in your driveway or something, I would probably give yourself a full day, maybe a solid 8 hours to knock this out and do it, you know, properly.
The first side takes a little bit longer just to kind of get your just bearings of everything,
exactly.
And then the second side goes a little bit faster.
Yeah, figure like 5 hours for the first side, 3 hours for the second side.
Right.
So you can knock it out pretty quickly and easily. So.
And nothing outrageous for tools, but obviously the trade of like knowing how to do it and everything. You do, you know, have some certain things, cut off wheel.
Yeah.
One of the other things that you guys were doing was you were heating up a box knife. And I told your installer, I was like, man, I really praise you give you kudos, because a lot of guys I've seen grab, you know, sawzalls or cutting off wheels and heat up the plastic while they're trying to saw through it, and it just makes the edge look like crap, which he was using a box cutter knife, a brand new knife, and slicing right through to trim everything and stuff. So that was really cool to see. Yeah,
a lot of it's a fairly straightforward job. It's just time consuming and to be meticulous. So nothing on it is actually hard or anything. Just time consuming to do it right.
So my truck has a 4-inch kit on it. I'm running 38s, but let's just say the truck, you get a guy that's calls you and asking for the AT4X AEV GMC or the Chevy version, and they want to, I mean, usually they're coming on 35s and guys want to fit 37s. So it is a good benefit to run this kit for the 37s, because like in my other video, they're really, really tight, and I wouldn't suggest to run them otherwise. What have you found in like for your guys' setups?
Yeah, so depending on the offset, if you're running just straight stock, like a 37 12.5 will fit pretty much no problem with this kit. If you want to go with like a 37 13.5, you'll probably need to get either I think it's the plus 12 wheel or the plus 18, or run like a small little spacer, just to get it off the frame, because that's where you'll be rubbing. But other than that, it's a pretty straightforward, easy install and fitment. I mean, it makes, as you can see, tons of clearance for those wheels. And even on my HD truck, I have a ZR2 Bison, and I'm fitting 38 13.5s with just a couple turns on the torsion keys with the AEV trim kit as well. So it's a must-have if you want to even think about 37s or 38s.
Yeah, well, I thank you very much. Like I said earlier in the video, I've seen your ZR2, and you reached out right away when I was trying to fit the 37s. I'm like, hey, just hold on. We're going to do a couple more things. And now I finally got to this point, and I still needed it. So I called you, and I thank you for fitting me in down here and getting it installed. And tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can go to SilveradoSeiraEnthusiast.com, or you can look us up on Google and give us a call, and we'll schedule an install or order online. We have free shipping in the lower 48 on pretty much all AEV products. So order yours now.
Okay, well, thank you very much for getting me in. I'm super happy now that I can turn left to right and not worry about anything rubbing. So I'm gonna go and enjoy the truck. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.